Hey everybody, it's Steve Lee, and I'm here to talk to you today about jQuery. I've been getting a lot of requests lately, particularly on the Divi CSS Share Facebook page, to include some jQuery how-tos and snippets and tutorials to go along with all this other Divi business. And so that's what I'm going to do today. That's the start of this, and I'm going to show you kind of a brief how-to use jQuery and what it can do on a page and why you should be using it if you're not already. So a lot of folks use, currently use CSS. If you use CSS already, I think jQuery is going to be a breeze. It's a lot of the same, finding snippets, copy, paste, and you can do a lot of really cool stuff on a page that you can't natively in, say, a Divi builder or any builder for that matter. So the use case for today, we're going to be using this. This is a third-party plugin that creates this section, this Instagram feed. It's created by Smashballoon, super popular in the WordPress repository. But there are things that that you can't do natively in that plugin, and you can't do it with Divi because this isn't made with Divi. It's just this whole section is blank, and it's just a shortcode that you pop in to make all this work. So what we're going to be doing today is moving this logo header description section under the pictures. Can't do that natively, can't do it in the Divi builder, but you can do it in jQuery, and it's super simple. Copy and paste kind of code. You've just got to get the classes for each and work it into your code. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to pull up Brackets here, which is this is a program. I think it's free. I've had it a while. I don't honestly remember, but if it's not, search around for a free one. It just lets you put code in here, and it kind of color codes it and makes it easier to read, which is kind of fun. And what I've got here is the jQuery document ready code. You don't have to remember this. You don't have to remember the syntax for it right now. Save that for down the road after you've been doing this a while. You literally copy and paste this every time you use jQuery. And it pretty much just tells, it serves the function of not running the jQuery until after the page is loaded. Because what we're going to be doing, you can see down here if you read ahead on this next section, we can even remove this one here just to make things a little more simple. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be finding the class of one thing. In this case, it's going to be, this little header description area for the Instagram feed. We're going to find the class of that, like the CSS class that you would be familiar with finding an inspect element. And then we're going to be telling it to insert this entire section after the images, or we could change this to before and tell it before the buttons. Either way it's probably going to work out the same. So it's really that simple. We're going to find the classes for those two items, put the classes in here, and then paste this snippet right between the jQuery document ready section, and we're going to see how it all works out. So let's hop over here back onto the page. I'm going to right click and go to inspect, and you can see here, we'll try to make this a little more better to see. We're just going to use this little select an element button and find this section here. So here it is right here, div class SB Instagram header. Thanks Smashballoon, that makes it super easy. I just double click on it and copy that class, and then we're going to go over to brackets and put that in. This is our first class here, and you can see that I've got the period here that serves as the identifier for a class. If that were an ID, it would just be the the hashtag or the pound sign, but that's a class. And then let's go back to our inspect element, and then we're going to find right after these images, it looked like it said SBI images. Okay, so here's a good example. This is an ID, so div ID, whereas the other one was a class. This is perfect because we get to see them both. And open brackets back up. And instead of this being a class, we're going to make it an ID. And then I'm just going to copy this entire line right here, which is just saying, hey, we've got a jQuery thing that we're running here. Take this class and insert it after this class, after this ID in this case. And we're going to pop that right into our jQuery document ready, which again, you're just going to have that, you know, sitting and waiting, and copy and paste. So boom, there's our J code. I'm going to copy the whole thing, and I'm going to go back into inspect element. Here's what I do before I put it on the page, before I put it into a code, you know, a code block. Head over to the console and insert it here. I just pasted that, you know, the thing we just did in brackets. Press enter, and you can see that that moved on the page. You know, we might want to tighten it up a little bit with CSS after to, you know, close gaps, or, you know, add a little padding here, reduce some padding here, just to make it look right. Or we could center it. We can, you know, play around with that with CSS, but that's the basic function of it. Is jQuery can let you manipulate anything that's on the web page. You could put this up, you know, before your header if you wanted to make it appear up there. Not that I think you'd want to do that, but it just gives you a good example of it. So, you know, if we refresh our page right now, it's going to go back to normal. And in order to make that stick, just like when we're using inspect element for CSS, we need to edit the page and add that into a code block. So let's enable the visual builder. We'll give that a second to load up here. And then right down below this, just to keep everything nice and neat, I'm going to add the code module down here. And now you can't just paste this in here. It's not going to work. This, you can see this is showing up kind of as text. We've got to wrap this in script tags. So left arrow, script, right arrow. I messed that up, didn't I? Here's how it's supposed to look. It should be script. And then we can paste our code in here. And this looks good. You can see here that this didn't move. This didn't move yet. After we save it and refresh the page, you're going to see that that change take place. You know, this is something that I've been doing a while. I don't know if it's still the case or not, but I think there used to be a problem with Divi where if you didn't leave spaces before and after the code, it wouldn't work or it would mess up. I'm not sure. It's been a couple of years since I encountered that, but this is still just a habit that I get into of leaving, you know, an extra space here, and seems to work out pretty good for me still. So I'm going to save this up, and then we're going to exit out of this page and see what happens. And like I said, we've already tried this in the console. We didn't get an error for that, so pretty safe bet that that's going to work for us. All right, let me scroll down, and we can see that it's gone from up here, and now it's down here. And it's just that simple. That one little bit, that one little snippet right here tells the page to take that class and put it after this ID. And there are a ton of jQuery snippets and codes and functions that you can use. Some of my very favorite are being able to move anything on the page to before or after something is a really fun one. Having events, like whenever you trigger an event, like say a click, or moving moving the mouse into an area of the screen, that's like, if you've ever seen like exit intent pop-ups, that's what they're doing. They're identifying an area on the screen and then using jQuery to say, hey, whenever the event happens that the mouse enters this area, trigger this pop-up. So that's how they happen with just a very, very little bit of jQuery. Toggling classes, say this class were I forget what it was called, SB Instagram header. You could take that class and then on hover change that class and have in your style sheet make it change to anything you want to. So again, you can do things that you just can't do with CSS. You can't do them with Divi. Those are kind of some of the restrictions that that you have as a website builder, and you've got to take your continue learning, take your game up to the next level, and see what jQuery can do for you. I think that's a good place to wrap up here this first video. I try not to make these things drag on for more than 10 minutes. I will just say that there's some good resources out there. I'll link them down in the comments below. I don't think Josh Hall has a course on jQuery. Divi Space does. I personally took the course from Divi Space. They've got their act together, and that was a really good course, worth checking out, especially if you have their their lifetime membership. That CSS and jQuery course is included in it, so you wouldn't even have to buy that extra. So that's the only one I can vouch for. I'll include a link for that down below. Not an affiliate link. It's just a link for the class, and it'll definitely help you if you're not using jQuery already. That'll definitely help you and take you up to that next level. So thanks for watching, guys. Hit up in the comments below if you've got any questions about jQuery or anything that you want to see in particular. And please like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the page if you want to find your way back here one day, and turn those notifications on if you want to be alerted whenever we drop something new. So thanks, take care, and bye-bye.